Well, it seems Ryzen has finally been announced and pre-orders have begun. Along with it comes a plethora of motherboards. Over 80 will be coming, and until they're all released, we can't definitively say what's what until March 2nd, but there's enough manufacturers already showing their boards off to give us an idea of what to look for. So stay tuned. Welcome back to Gamer Meld. So it's here. Ryzen looks to be outperforming Intel at a fraction of the cost, and the industry is abuzz. But what about the motherboards? It seems AMD will actually have more boards releasing for their Ryzen CPUs than ever before. So yeah, let's go over these boards a little. As I said, not all have officially been announced yet, but we have enough from OEMs to see the different features for pricing tiers. To keep parity with one another, we're only going to be looking at full-size ATX mobos to see more apples-to-apples comparison, basically. Keep in mind that all of these specs are going to be taken from Amazon.com. Basically, you're going to see very similar pricing among the manufacturers with very similar differences among each tier. As far as I can see, there are essentially three significant differences as you move up the price ladder. The first and probably most major difference is single PCI Express 3.0 versus dual. The dual is purely for SLI or Crossfire support. Since both manufacturers have given up triple and quad support, there's simply no reason to have them. I was thinking we might see 4 slots as assigned Vega would support quad channel Crossfire, but alas, it doesn't seem to be the case. Now keep in mind one thing, if you plan on only buying one graphics card with your motherboard, I highly recommend not worrying about dual support. I know what you're thinking, but what if I want to upgrade later? And here's my answer. The way graphics tech moves, by the time you're ready to upgrade, it's usually more economical to simply buy a new card and sell the old one. Of course, that completely depends on how fast you want to jump into dual channel. If you plan on keeping your card for 2 years or so, don't worry about it. That's really just my personal feelings based on my experiences. But of course it's your money, and another difference may be more compelling for you. The second important difference I notice is RGB. I'd say the community is insanely divided on this. Some love it and some absolutely hate it. Either way, if you want it, it'll cost you. But the options are there. The lowest tier Asus has an option for LED fan lighting, but the second tier has Aura, and the highest tier actually has RGB lighting on the motherboard itself. As a side note to manufacturers, please stop giving us RGB with certain parts painted a non-neutral color. Like ASRox has red accents all over it. Ugh. It's frustrating. We can work with these millions of colors, but then you paint it up red. Or whatever the color may be, yellow. Sorry, but when we then have lighting, it just doesn't look good. Unless it's that exact same color, of course. Anyway, the third difference is in your ports. The top 2 tiers tend to have 6 SATA ports, while the bottom only have 4. Of course, this is only relevant if you need that many hard drives. They almost all have a single M.2 slot with 4 lanes of PCI Express 3.0 though. So keep in mind that there is plenty of room for storage. Then the top 2 tiers have more USB 3.1, usually in the form of one Type-C and one Type-A versus a single Type-A in the bottom tier. As an example, the $255 Asus Crosshair 6 has a USB 3.1 Type-C and Type-A high current and sleep and charge connector, while the second tier $170 board uses a regular Type-C and A USB 3.1 ports. The lower tier has 2 3.1 Type-A ports only. The first and second tier also have far less 3.0 and 2.0 ports. Simply put, the top tier has a ton. There are a few minor differences here and there, but there's actually a good bit of similarities. For example, most of M.2 slots support up to 64 gigs of DDR4 memory, have gigabit LAN speeds, and really plenty more. So the question you have to ask yourself first is, do you want 2 graphics cards or 1? After that, you see just how many ports you need and whether RGB is important to you. Typically, the higher you go up in price, the more reinforced the boards are, but whether you need a ton of protection is also up to you. Keep in mind that I haven't gone over every difference, as that would take a good while, but these are the key differences you really want to think about when looking for the board that's right for you. So yeah, I know I didn't really give you a definitive answer, but hopefully it gave you steps and at least a decent comprehension of some major differences between the boards so you can kind of pick what's right for you. So yeah, I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If not, give it a thumbs down. That's fine, but just let me know so maybe I can work on something for the future. Have a great day.